Hello, the Pioneer viewers. We continue to convey the developments that changed the course of the war. Today, we are again witnessing extremely striking events in the conflicts between Ukraine and Russia. The scale of the war has entered a new phase, especially with the increasing attacks recently. Both sides have mobilized all their forces in order to achieve their strategic goals, and in these critical moments, major changes are taking place on the ground. In fact, the recent attacks and clashes could completely change the course of the war in the future. In particular, the Ukrainian army's recent operations against key Russian positions have been remarkably effective. The extensive damage to the targeted points continues to increase the pressure on the Russian army and its defense lines. The large-scale fires that occurred after these attacks posed a serious problem for Russia and once again questions the effectiveness of its air defense systems. These events have significantly weakened not only Russian military assets, but also their strategic infrastructure. Unmanned aerial vehicles play a major role in the strategic operations of the Ukrainian army. While carrying out highly precise strikes against designated targets, these vehicles have succeeded in causing serious damage to key Russian targets. These attacks, which have caused large-scale fires in recent days, have also greatly affected the military balance in the region. One of the most important consequences of these fires was the damage to Russian oil depots. Burning oil depots continue to put Russia in a difficult situation, not only economically, but also logistically. Let's take a look at the developments of the latest attacks. Before we get into our report, a quick reminder. The Pioneer team is definitely real. None of my team members, or me for that matter, are artificial intelligence. There's no doubt that AI is very advanced, but it's still not as good as us. So don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our daily reports and explanations. I do read all the comments you leave on our videos. Please continue to share your ideas about our content in the comments section. Tell us in the comments what content you'd like to see on the Anchor Daily News channel. So let's start if you're ready. The Pioneer reports. As Russia's war against Ukraine enters its third year, developments on the ground continue unabated. These strategic operations carried out by the Ukrainian army, especially in the recent period, are on the agenda with attacks on Russia's most sensitive points. These attacks aim to seriously weaken Russia's fighting power and economic resources. In this context, attacks using unmanned aerial vehicles have begun to target Russia's oil depots, causing major damage to the country's energy infrastructure. Russian authorities are struggling to contain the fires that have erupted after a series of Ukrainian unmanned aerial vehicle strikes on Russia's strategic oil depots. While fires continue in many critical points, especially in Belgorod, Voronezh and Rostov regions, statements from the Ukrainian Defense Ministry are trying to minimize the extent of the incident. Although the Russian Defense Ministry's statements on Telegram claim that most of the unmanned aerial vehicles were destroyed and the attackers were neutralized, local sources refute these statements. According to the Russian Defense Ministry's statement, the Kyiv regime tried to carry out terrorist attacks with aircraft-type unmanned aerial vehicles on the territory of the Russian Federation. These attacks were foiled between 09:50 and 11:30 Moscow time. According to the information, 6 unmanned aerial vehicles were destroyed in the Belgorod region, another 6 in the Voronezh region, 5 over waters of the Sea of Azov, and one in the Rostov region. However, these statements do not fully reflect reality. Reports from local sources indicate that these strikes have largely reached their targets and caused major damage, especially to fuel tanks. These attacks, organized by Ukraine, are carried out at strategic points that directly affect both Russia's energy infrastructure and its military power. According to a statement by the Ukrainian General Staff, the attack in the Voronezh region especially targeted the Ananefte product, fuel and lubricant storage base in the town of Anna. Ukraine claimed responsibility for the attack, confirming that a significant part of the facility was hit and that at least one vertical tank was destroyed and set on fire. This operation stands out as one of Ukraine's strategic moves to turn the tide of the war in its favor. The Ukrainian General Staff made the following statements in a post on Telegram. It was noted that the Russian air defense system was not effective in the area where the facility is located. It was confirmed that at least one of vertical tanks was hit and a large-scale fire broke out. This reveals the Russia's defense system are unable to provide effective protection against Ukrainian unmanned aerial vehicles. This development is seen as part of Ukraine's strategy to increase pressure on Russia, not only militarily but also economically. Such attacks, especially on energy infrastructure, have the potential to seriously undermine Russia's war economy. Moreover, the fact that most of these attacks have been successful reveals Ukraine's unmanned aerial vehicle capacity and how it uses them strategically. Fires are also reigning in other parts of Russia. In recent days, a large fire was reported to have broken out in Perm Krai, located about 1,119 miles from Ukraine. According to the Russian Ministry of Emergency Situations, the fire in the Perm Krai spread over an area of 10,000 square meters, and it took hours to bring the fire under control. However, it's not yet clear whether the fire was the result of an attack by unmanned aerial vehicles. The ministry said it was investigating the cause of the fire, and unmanned aerial vehicle strikes were not considered as a possible cause. Despite this statement, local sources claim that the fire in Perm Krai may also have been the result of an attack. Fires in these regions, where Russia's defense mechanisms are weak, are associated with the inadequacy of air defense systems. Although Russian officials claim that these fires were caused by natural causes, these claims are not very convincing given the timing and size of the fires. One of the most important elements of these Ukrainian attacks is that the effectiveness of Russia's air defense systems is being seriously questioned, especially in such unmanned aerial vehicle strikes. The exposure of the weak points of Russia's defense lines gives the Ukrainian army a significant advantage. The failure of the defense systems in the attacks in Belgorod, Voronezh and Rostov regions create a critical weakness for the Russian army. On the other hand, the vulnerability of critical infrastructure in Russia's hinterland to these attacks is becoming increasingly evident. Such attacks, especially on energy infrastructure, could seriously undermine Russia's war economy in the long run. It remains to be seen what measures Russia will take against such attacks and how it will strengthen its defense systems. What do you think? Why do you think Russia cannot protect its territory? What consequences could these fires have? Let me know in the comments. I read and care about your opinions.